Welcome back to another episode of the English Hour. I'm your host, Sophia, and today we're diving into a powerful topic on how learning and speaking English can actually boost your confidence. And as always, I'm joined by our amazing guest Jacob. Welcome back, Jacob.
Thank you, Sophia. It's always a pleasure to be here, and I love today's topic. Confidence and language learning are so closely connected, and people often underestimate just how much English can change the way you see yourself.
Absolutely. And I think many of our listeners are here, not just to improve their English skills, but also to feel better about themselves in social or professional situations. So, let's start simple, Jacob. How do you think English helps with self-confidence?
Great question. For me, it starts with the feeling of accomplishment. When you're able to express your thoughts clearly in another language, especially one as global as English, you feel like you've unlocked a new version of yourself. It's like discovering a superpower.
I love that comparison. A superpower. It really is, isn't it? Especially for someone who once struggled to say a few sentences and then finds themselves having full conversations. That's transformational.
Totally. And the transformation isn't just about the language, it's internal. You start believing in your ability to learn, to adapt, to connect with people from different cultures. That belief spills over into other areas of your life.
I've seen that happen with many students. They come in shy, hesitant to speak. But once they start speaking English, even just a little, they begin walking taller. Their body language changes. Their tone changes.
Exactly. There's a psychological shift too. When you speak English, especially if you're using it in international settings like work meetings, travel, or online communities, you feel more worldly, more capable. That's powerful.
Have you ever met someone who was confident in their own language, but became completely silent in English?
Oh, many times. And what's interesting is that the moment they start gaining confidence in English, they recover their personality in that language. It's like the language barrier was suppressing who they really are.
That's so true. I think that's something a lot of listeners can relate to. You know who you are in your native language, but when you're trying to speak English, suddenly you feel like a different person. Quiet, reserved, even scared.
Yes, but when you practice regularly, especially by listening to podcasts like this or watching shows, reading books, or chatting with friends online, you start building a new self in English. And that self starts to resemble the real you more and more.
Beautifully said. And that makes me think about the idea of small wins. Every time you successfully say something in English, or someone understands you, it's like your confidence bank fills up a little more.
I like that confidence bank. And it's true. Confidence grows in tiny steps. It's not about being perfect. It's about being understood, being brave enough to try, and recognizing your progress.
So let's talk about fear for a moment. What are people really afraid of when they speak English?
Most people are afraid of judgment. They think others will laugh at their accent or correct their grammar, or assume they're not smart because of the way they speak.
That's heartbreaking, honestly. Because no one deserves to feel that way for learning a second language. Especially when they're doing something courageous.
Totally agree. Learning to speak English is one of the bravest things you can do. And those fears are real, but they can be overcome. One step at a time.
So what would you say to someone who wants to speak English, but feels too shy?
I'd say this confidence doesn't come before action, it comes after. Speak even when you're scared. Make mistakes. Laugh at yourself. And remember, everyone starts somewhere. The people you admire in English were once beginners too.
Yes, that's so important. Nobody starts fluent. Every confident English speaker has a story behind their success, and usually, it includes a lot of embarrassing moments.
Oh, for sure. I've said some ridiculously wrong things in English when I was learning, but I kept going. That's what matters.
Can you share one? Just for fun.
Okay. Once I was trying to say, I'm excited about a trip to the mountains, but I accidentally said something that meant I was, let's say, overly romantic about it. The person I was talking to burst out laughing. It was awkward but memorable.
Oh no, that's hilarious. And see, moments like that don't kill your confidence, they build it, if you let them.
Exactly. You start realizing, okay, I survived that. And now I've learned. That's how confidence grows through real experiences.
You know what else helps? Practicing with people who are supportive. If you surround yourself with encouraging people, you'll naturally feel more confident when you speak.
I agree completely. Whether it's friends, teachers, or even online communities, positive feedback makes a big difference. And even when someone corrects you, if they do it kindly, it boosts your confidence instead of crushing it.
That brings us to another point: mindset. If you believe English is hard, it becomes hard. But if you treat it like a fun puzzle, something to enjoy, your brain responds differently.
Yes, I always tell learners to gamify the process. Celebrate every new word. Challenge yourself to describe your day in English. Write your thoughts in English. Make it a part of your identity.
And don't be afraid of your accent. It's part of your story. Confidence doesn't mean sounding like a native, it means owning your voice.
I couldn't agree more. Your accent shows where you come from. It tells people you've mastered more than one language. That's impressive.
So let's list a few practical ways our listeners can build English confidence today. What's your first suggestion?
Start talking to yourself in English. It sounds weird, I know, but narrate your actions, talk about your feelings, or describe what you see. It trains your brain to think in English.
I do that all the time. I even do it when I'm cooking, like, okay, now I'm chopping the onions. Now I'm adding salt. It really helps.
Exactly. And my second tip is record yourself. Listen to your pronunciation. You'll notice things you can improve, but you'll also notice how much better you're getting over time.
Love that. I'd join a language group, even online. There are so many platforms where you can chat with people who are also learning English. It's a judgment-free zone.
Yes, and my last tip: watch English videos with subtitles first, then turn off the subtitles. Try to repeat what you hear. It builds both listening and speaking confidence.
These are gold, Jacob. I hope everyone listening is taking notes. Confidence in English doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing.
And enjoying the journey. Every step, every mistake, every laugh, it all adds up.
Exactly. And in the next part of our conversation, I want to dig deeper into how English confidence affects relationships, careers, and even your mental health. So, Jacob, as I mentioned, I really want to explore how confidence in English can impact relationships, careers, and even mental well-being. Let's start with relationships. How does being able to speak English improve someone's social life?
That's a great direction, Sophia. When you speak English confidently, you can connect with people from all over the world. Whether it's making friends while traveling, chatting online, or even dating, language opens doors.
Right. It's not just about understanding someone else, it's about being understood, and that's such a human need. We all want to share our thoughts, our stories, and our emotions.
Exactly. And when you have the confidence to do that in English, your social circle expands. You're no longer limited by borders or geography. Suddenly, you can be part of international communities, book clubs, forums, gaming groups, you name it.
I've even heard from people who met their best friends or life partners simply because they spoke English. That connection would have never happened otherwise.
That's the power of language. It's like a bridge. And the more confidently you walk across it, the more people you'll meet on the other side.
Let's take it to the workplace now. English has almost become the language of global business. How important is confidence in English for professional success?
Hugely important. In many companies, especially international ones, English is the working language. If you want to attend meetings, share ideas, write emails, or even get promoted, you need to feel confident expressing yourself.
And it's not just about vocabulary, is it? It's about tone, clarity, and being able to speak with conviction.
Exactly. A person may have amazing ideas, but if they can't express them clearly in English, they might not get the recognition they deserve. On the other hand, someone with average ideas but strong communication can often stand out more.
That's such a good point. Communication is a skill in itself. and confidence is what makes that skill come alive. Even just starting a conversation or asking a question in a meeting requires courage.
Yes. And when you start contributing in English, people notice you. It boosts your credibility and your visibility. You're no longer the quiet one, you're part of the discussion.
And that can lead to so many opportunities, right? Better roles, networking, even international job offers.
Absolutely. I've seen people who were stuck in the same position for years, and once they gained confidence in English, they suddenly started moving up the ladder. They were finally able to express their value.
That's life. Changing. And let's touch on something deeper. Now, how does English confidence affect a person's mental health?
Great question. Confidence in any area of life boosts mental well-being. But when it comes to language, there's something really special. When people feel they can't express themselves, they can become anxious, isolated, or even depressed.
Yes, I've seen that. People start avoiding social situations, interviews, even friendships, just because they're afraid of speaking English.
Exactly. But when they begin to break through that fear, even slowly, their self-esteem starts to rise. They feel more in control. They feel like they have a voice again.
It's amazing what that does for someone's mental state. I think it's empowering in the deepest sense.
Completely. And I think everyone listening should know your confidence doesn't have to be loud. It can be quiet, steady, growing over time. It's not about perfection. It's about presence.
Yes, it's about showing up and saying, I deserve to be here, and I have something to say. That mindset alone can shift everything.
And you know what? The more you use English, the less you think about it. You stop worrying about how you sound, and you focus more on what you're saying. That's when confidence becomes natural.
I love that. At first, it feels like you're climbing a mountain with every sentence. But over time, you're just walking a path.
Exactly. And that path can take you anywhere: new countries, new careers, new friendships, new dreams.
So let's play a little scenario game. I'll describe a person, and you tell me how English confidence could help them. Okay?
Oh, fun. Let's do it.
Alright, first scenario. A university student in a small town who wants to apply for a scholarship abroad, but is afraid their English isn't good enough.
I'd say start small. Begin with daily English videos, join a language exchange group, and write down your thoughts in English every night. Confidence will grow, and soon that scholarship application won't feel so scary.
Love that. Second scenario, a stay-at-home parent who wants to return to work, but feels nervous about interviews in English.
Practice answering common interview questions out loud. Record yourself. Role play with a friend. The more familiar you are with the phrases, the less nervous you'll feel. And remember, confidence shows when you're prepared.
Beautiful. Third one, a young professional working in an international company who avoids meetings because they don't feel fluent enough.
First, join meetings and just listen actively. Then slowly start adding your voice, ask a question, give feedback. Your presence is powerful even in small contributions. Each moment builds your confidence.
That was great. It really shows how English confidence can change the story in different situations.
And these aren't just stories, they're real lives. Real people making real changes.
Yes. So Jacob, what are some daily habits our listeners can adopt that will help them become more confident English speakers?
Great question. I'd say start with 5 key habits. First, read something in English every day. It could be a short article, a paragraph from a book, or even a social media post.
I like that. Reading gives you new words and natural sentence structures.
Second, speak for at least 5 minutes a day. To yourself, your pet, a mirror, it doesn't matter. Just speak. Third, listen to native English for at least 15 minutes. It could be this podcast, music, or YouTube.
That's already a good combo, input and output together.
Exactly. Fourth, keep a small English journal. Write about your day, your thoughts, or your dreams. And fifth, celebrate progress. Don't wait until you're fluent. Celebrate the sentence you said today that you couldn't say last month.
That last one is so important. Too many learners focus only on what they can't do yet, instead of being proud of how far they've come.
Progress is powerful fuel. When you see growth, you want to keep going.
That reminds me of a listener who messaged us recently. She said she used to be too shy to order food in English. But now she gives full presentations at her job. All because she started practicing a little every day.
That's amazing, and it proves that confidence isn't reserved for a few, it's available to anyone willing to put in consistent effort.
So let's imagine you're speaking directly to a listener, right now, someone who wants to build confidence in English, but doesn't know where to begin. What would you say?
I'd say this: start now. Speak one sentence today. Listen to one podcast episode. Write one thought. Don't wait for confidence to show up before you act, and confidence will follow. You are capable. And you are not alone.
That gave me chills, Jacob. So powerful and so true.
I've been on the journey myself, and I've seen hundreds of others walk the same path. The only difference between where you are and where you want to be is consistency and courage.
And we're here to support every step of that journey. That's why we do this show. And Jacob, I think a lot of our listeners wonder, what if people laugh at their accent or grammar? That fear alone can stop someone from even trying to speak.
Oh, that fear is so common and completely understandable. But here's the truth: your accent is not a weakness, it's a sign of courage. It shows you're learning a second language. That's something to be proud of.
I love that. An accent means you're bilingual, or on your way to becoming bilingual. That's a superpower in today's world.
Exactly. And let's be honest, even native English speakers make grammar mistakes. Every language has rules that even natives break in casual conversation. The goal is communication, not perfection.
That's a huge mindset shift. Communicate, not perform. Share, not impress.
Yes, the moment you realize that English is a tool, not a test, everything changes. You stop trying to sound perfect and start focusing on being clear, real, and confident.
And I think when people accept their unique voice in English, it becomes easier to grow. You're not trying to be someone else. You're becoming the best version of yourself.
That's beautifully said. You're not imitating, you're integrating English into your personality, your values, your story.
Speaking of personality, do you think someone's confidence in English affects their ability to express their emotions?
Absolutely. When your vocabulary is limited, it can feel like your personality is trapped. You want to express joy, frustration, sarcasm, but you don't always have the right words.
Yes. I've met people who seem quiet in English, but are super funny and expressive in their native language.
Exactly. But the good news is, the more you learn, the more of your true self starts to shine through. Your humor, your opinions, your passion, they all find a way out through the words you gain.
And that makes conversations richer, more honest, more human.
Yes, confidence in English gives you the power to be you in every setting.
Let's go into a very practical angle. Now, public speaking in English. It terrifies a lot of learners. What's your advice for someone who wants to get better at it?
Start small. Don't jump straight into speeches. Begin by speaking in front of a mirror. Then maybe record yourself. Then share a 1-minute video on social media or speak in a small group.
So it's like building muscle: repetition, small wins, and consistent practice.
Exactly. And always remember, your audience isn't judging you as harshly as you think. Most people are just happy you're trying. Many will respect your effort more than your fluency.
That's so true. We often assume others are focused on our mistakes, but they're usually focused on the message, or just listening casually.
Yes. And confidence doesn't mean being fearless. It means moving forward with the fear and not letting it stop you.
That's such a great reminder. I think every English learner listening today has experienced fear, but we want to tell them fear is okay. Just don't let it make the decisions for you.
Exactly. Speak scared, write nervous, read unsure. But do it anyway. That's how confidence is born, through action.
Jacob, let's give our listeners a short challenge right now. Something they can do today to step out of their comfort zone.
I love that. Okay, here's a challenge. Today, record a 60-second voice note in English. Introduce yourself. Say where you're from, what you love doing, and why you want to improve your English.
That's such a good one. And they don't have to post it anywhere unless they want to. Just listen to themselves. Hear their own voice in English.
Yes, and tomorrow, do it again. Maybe this time talk about your favorite movie, your pet, or your biggest dream. Each recording builds more confidence.
That's exactly the kind of practice that turns fear into freedom.
And if you feel really bold, share the voice note with a friend. Or even better, find a language partner and start having small daily conversations.
That reminds me, what do you think of language exchange apps? Do they really help build English confidence?
Oh, 100%, they're brilliant. You're talking with real people in real time. You learn to think fast, listen better, and adapt to different accents.
And they also help you realize English isn't owned by one country. You hear it from Italians, Brazilians, Indonesians, everyone has their own rhythm and flavor.
Yes, and that's comforting, actually. You realize you don't have to sound British or American to be a good English speaker. You just have to be clear and confident.
I love that message. There's no one right English. There's just your English evolving, improving, and becoming more you every day.
Exactly. English is a global passport, and your accent is your visa stamp. It tells your story.
Wow, that's poetic. Your accent is your visa stamp. I'm writing that one down.
Feel free. I want every listener today to embrace their voice, their pace, their path. Confidence isn't about reaching a finish line, it's about starting and then continuing day after day.
And the more you show up for yourself, the more natural English becomes. You stop overthinking, and you start feeling the language.
Yes, it becomes instinctive. You begin to dream in English, you joke in English, you comfort others in English. That's when you know confidence has become part of you.
I want to go deeper into that, how English becomes part of your identity. But let's pause for a breath. Listeners, we hope you're reflecting on your own journey right now. Think about the small wins you've had, the sentences you were once afraid to say, the emails you now send with ease.
Those are all signs of growth. Never overlook them. Growth often whispers before it shouts.
Beautifully put. Let's keep this conversation going because we're just getting started. Jacob, earlier you said something that really stuck with me, how English becomes part of who you are. I think that's such an important phase in someone's language journey.
Yes, absolutely. In the beginning, English feels like something external, like a subject you study in school. But over time, it blends into your habits, your thinking, your decisions.
It's like moving from translating in your head to actually thinking in English. That transition is so magical, right?
Oh, it really is. It's subtle but powerful. One day you realize you're not mentally converting every word from your native language. You're just flowing with English thoughts.
I remember when I first started dreaming in English. That was wild. It felt like my brain had switched its internal mode.
Yes, dreaming in English is a huge milestone. It shows that your brain is relaxing into the language. You're not forcing it anymore.
And beyond dreaming, it starts to shape your personality in small ways. Like the jokes you make, the way you respond emotionally, even the phrases you pick up from movies or friends.
That's so true. Language and identity are deeply connected. The words you use shape how you express yourself. So when you learn a new language, it's not just vocabulary, it's a new version of you emerging.
That gives me goosebumps. Because it's not about replacing your identity, it's about expanding it.
Exactly. You don't lose who you are, you gain new dimensions, new ways to connect, to create, to contribute.
And that's where confidence becomes deeper than just speaking fluently. It's about feeling authentic in another language.
Right? You start asking yourself, can I be funny in English? Can I flirt in English? Can I comfort someone in English? And when the answer becomes yes, your confidence skyrockets.
I love those questions. Because confidence isn't just about job interviews or presentations, it's also about being emotionally expressive in your second language.
And that takes time, but also intentional practice, like journaling in English, watching romantic comedies or dramas, or even having deep conversations with a trusted friend.
Do you think journaling is underrated? Because I do. It helps so much with organizing thoughts, building emotional vocabulary, and boosting clarity.
100% agree. Journaling is like private practice. No pressure, no judgment. Just you and your thoughts finding their English form.
And it's also healing. You process emotions while practicing language.
Yes. It's emotional fitness and language fitness at the same time.
Let's get practical again. What are 3 daily habits someone can adopt to integrate English into their lifestyle?
Great question. Okay, here are 3. 1. Input before output. Start your day by listening to or reading something in English, even just for 5 minutes. 2. Micro speaking practice. Talk to yourself out loud while doing daily tasks, like, I'm making coffee. I need to send this email. Or, it's raining outside. 3. Reflect in English at night. Write or record a short reflection. What went well today? Or, what did I learn?
I love how simple and doable that is. It's not about adding pressure, it's about adding consistency.
Yes. Because consistency beats intensity. It's better to practice 10 minutes every day than 2 hours once a week.
And, when it becomes a lifestyle, you're not studying English, you're living it.
Exactly. That's the secret. When English stops being a task and becomes a habit, confidence grows without you even noticing.
Let's talk about music for a second. A lot of learners use songs to build confidence. How can someone make the most of that?
Oh, music is fantastic. It's emotional, rhythmic, and memorable. One trick is to choose a song you love, learn the lyrics, and sing along daily. It trains pronunciation, vocabulary, and rhythm.
And singing lowers stress. It feels like fun, not study.
Yes, and lyrics often reflect everyday expressions. You hear phrases like, I've got your back, or don't give up on me, real, emotional English.
And sometimes, even slang and idioms. It's like cultural immersion through melody.
Exactly. And it helps your intonation, which is key for sounding confident. Intonation isn't about grammar, it's about emotion and flow.
I think we should definitely do an episode just on English through music one day.
I'd love that. There's so much to explore. Lyrics, rhythm, memory, cultural stories music teaches in ways books can't.
Let's swing back for a second. What's the biggest internal change you've seen in people who commit to English and grow in confidence?
Oh, great question. I'd say self-trust. In the beginning, learners doubt everything. Did I say that right? Do I sound weird? But with time, they stop asking for permission. They own their voice.
That's powerful. They move from asking, "Can I?" to saying, "I did."
Exactly. And that shift changes how they walk into rooms, how they apply for jobs, how they build relationships.
You're not just confident. In English, you become confident in yourself.
Yes, English becomes the spark that ignites deeper confidence across life. It's the tool that opens doors but also mirrors back your strength.
Jacob, this is gold. And I know our listeners are absorbing every word.
I hope so. Because every learner listening right now has potential they haven't even seen yet. Confidence will unlock it.
I feel like we could talk about this forever, and we will. Let's keep going deeper in the next part. Jacob, let's dive into something that everyone faces: social situations. English learners often feel nervous in conversations, right?
Oh yes, all the time. Especially in group settings or when the topic shifts quickly. That fear of not understanding or responding correctly can be overwhelming.
And it's that freeze moment that gets people. You're in a group. Someone makes a joke or asks you something, and your brain goes blank.
Exactly. And people think it's a language issue, but often it's a confidence issue.
That's such an important distinction. They may know the words, but anxiety blocks the flow.
Yes, think of it like this: confidence is the bridge between what you know and what you say. If the bridge is shaky, even a strong vocabulary won't help.
So, how do we strengthen that bridge?
It starts with practicing micro moments of social English. Things like making small talk, asking about someone's weekend, or complimenting someone's outfit.
I love that low pressure, everyday interactions. "Hey, nice jacket." Or, "How was your day?" They build momentum.
And those little wins add up. Each small success tells your brain, hey, I can do this.
I also think learners shouldn't wait for the perfect sentence. Sometimes confidence means speaking even if it's not perfect.
Absolutely. Fluency is messy. It's not about speaking perfectly, it's about connecting.
And people are usually kind and patient, especially when they see someone making an effort.
That's so true. Most native speakers don't expect perfection. They appreciate courage and curiosity.
What about joining communities like speaking clubs, book circles, or even Discord groups?
Game changer? Joining an English speaking community gives you a safe space to make mistakes, learn, and grow with others.
And it's social learning. You laugh, share, ask questions. It's not like sitting alone with grammar books.
Exactly. And shared interests make it easier. Whether it's movies, books, tech, or fitness, English becomes the bridge to friendship.
I once had a student who loved baking. She joined an international baking forum, started posting recipes in English, and boom, her confidence exploded.
That's perfect. Passion accelerates learning. When you care about the topic, you push through the fear.
And people forget confidence doesn't always start before action. Sometimes, it shows up after.
Yes, you take action, feel a small win, and that win fuels the next step. It's like a staircase.
Let's talk about mistakes. Because fear of mistakes holds so many people back socially.
Mistakes are part of the package. If you're not making mistakes, you're not growing.
I always say, mistakes are proof you're trying. And honestly, some mistakes lead to the funniest and most memorable conversations.
Oh, absolutely. I once said, I'm boring, instead of, I'm bored, during a lunch break, and everyone laughed. But they also corrected me kindly.
And you never made that mistake again, right?
Never. That one moment stuck forever. Mistakes are sticky teachers.
Let's be honest, awkwardness is universal. Native speakers get nervous too. So learners shouldn't hold themselves to impossible standards.
Totally. Awkwardness is part of being human, whether you speak one language or five.
So Jacob, what can someone do when they're at a social event and feel too shy to join a conversation in English?
Start small. You don't need to jump into the middle of the conversation. Just smile, nod, and respond to small cues. Even a simple, that's interesting, or really, keeps you in the loop.
And what about preparing ahead? Like learning phrases or practicing introductions.
Great strategy. Have a few go-to phrases ready, like, Hi, I'm still learning, but I'd love to chat. Or, I'm curious. What do you think about?
It's like having a social toolkit. You don't have to invent everything on the spot.
Exactly. Preparation breeds confidence. It's like rehearsing for a play. You still improvise, but you're not starting from scratch.
I think learners should also celebrate effort, not just results. If you joined a group chat or said hello to someone new, that's huge.
Yes, effort matters. The courage to show up and participate is more important than grammar perfection.
And every new interaction makes the next one easier. That's the compound effect of courage.
Well said. Confidence builds like interest in a bank. Small deposits daily lead to big returns.
I feel like we need to put that on a poster. Confidence is compound interest on courage.
I'd hang that on my wall for sure.
All right, Jacob, let's continue this thread. Next, I want to ask you about using English to express emotions and deeper thoughts. Because that's where real confidence shows up.
Let's do it. That's one of my favorite topics.
So, Jacob, as we said, real confidence often shows up when people start expressing emotions in English, not just facts or functional sentences. What's your take on that?
You're spot on, Sophia. There's a shift that happens when someone starts saying things like, I feel overwhelmed, or this makes me happy. It shows that English is no longer just a subject, it becomes personal.
Exactly. Emotions are where vulnerability lives. And the ability to express vulnerability in a second language, that's real fluency.
I couldn't agree more. When learners go beyond, I like pizza, and say, pizza reminds me of home, you see depth. That's when their confidence starts to transform into emotional fluency.
Yes, and it's empowering. Being able to say what's on your heart, without feeling trapped or limited by language, it gives people a new voice.
Totally. And a new voice often means a new identity, or at least an expanded one.
That's so deep, Jacob. Many learners say they feel like a different version of themselves when speaking English.
Absolutely. Sometimes more confident, sometimes more reserved, depending on their environment and experiences. But as they grow, they start merging those identities.
And I think expressing emotions is key to that merging. It's not just about vocabulary, it's about permission, giving yourself permission to speak from the heart, even if it's not perfect.
That's beautifully said. I've seen students open up about love, grief, joy all in English, and the confidence they gained wasn't just about grammar, it was about being seen and heard.
Do you remember any student who had a breakthrough in this area?
Oh, yes, definitely. I had a student named Amina. She was always quiet in class, great with grammar, but never spoke much. One day, we had a journaling activity where she wrote about missing her grandmother. She read it out loud, voice trembling, and you could feel the room shift.
Wow.
Yeah. From that day on, she started participating more. She realized people weren't judging her, they were listening to her. That moment gave her the emotional permission she needed.
That's powerful. I think writing is an amazing tool for this. Journals, poems, even voice notes when learners reflect in English. They process emotions through the language.
I love that you brought up voice notes. Recording your thoughts, your feelings, even if no one hears them, it's therapeutic and confidence boosting.
And listening back helps too. You hear yourself becoming more fluent in expressing the real you.
Exactly. And once you can say things like, I'm nervous, I'm proud, or I'm grateful, you start relating to people on a deeper level. English becomes a tool for connection, not just communication.
And people feel that. They're drawn to authenticity.
Yes, confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about being real, even in another language.
Let's talk about romantic feelings for a second. Because many learners want to express love, affection, or even heartbreak, but don't know how.
Oh, that's a great topic. English has so many phrases and idioms around love, and using them can make learners feel more connected, but also more nervous.
Right? I've had learners ask, how do I say, I love you, in a way that feels natural? And sometimes it's more about tone and context than the exact words.
Definitely. I love you is powerful, but so is I enjoy spending time with you, or I feel happy when I'm with you. These are gentle emotional expressions that build confidence in romantic settings.
And even saying, I'm not sure how to say this, but, can be a beautiful, vulnerable doorway to real conversation.
Yes, that phrase is gold. It's honest, disarming, and human.
I also think people should practice emotional expressions in safe environments first. With friends, in role plays, even in front of a mirror.
Absolutely. The mirror method is underrated. Looking yourself in the eye and saying, I'm proud of myself today, or I deserve love. Those things change your emotional fluency.
And it boosts inner confidence, which reflects outward in your social life.
Couldn't agree more. Confidence starts on the inside and radiates outward, especially when you know how to name and express your feelings.
Let's list some powerful emotional phrases that learners can practice, shall we?
Great idea, I'll start. I feel anxious, but I'm trying. Simple, real.
This matters to me. Very strong and clear.
I'm not okay, but I'm working on it. Vulnerable and brave.
I'm excited about this. Pure joy in one sentence.
I'm scared to speak, but I want to learn. That one's close to many learners' hearts.
So true. Even naming the fear gives you power over it.
Yes, and power over fear equals confidence. It's a journey, not a switch.
Alright, next, I want us to explore how storytelling in English helps people build even more confidence. Especially when they start sharing their personal experiences and ideas in longer conversations.
Oh, I love that topic. Storytelling is where language and identity come alive.
Alright, let's talk about storytelling. I truly believe it's one of the most powerful ways for learners to build confidence in English.
Absolutely, Sophia. When someone tells a story about their childhood, their job, a funny memory, they're not just practicing grammar. They're owning the language.
Yes, and when you share your story, you invite others to connect with you. That connection builds trust, and with trust comes more confidence.
And I've noticed something fascinating when learners start storytelling. Their posture changes, their tone becomes richer, and their vocabulary expands naturally.
That's because stories activate emotions and imagination. You're not just thinking, is this sentence right? You're thinking, How can I take you on a journey?
Exactly. And that journey doesn't have to be dramatic. Even telling someone about your day, like, this morning I missed the bus, but I met an old friend on the walk. That's storytelling.
And it's so empowering. I always encourage learners to start small. Tell me about your favorite holiday. What's a memory that makes you laugh? And just let the words flow.
Yes. And when they do it regularly, storytelling becomes second nature. They stop worrying about mistakes because they're focused on the message, not the mechanics.
And that's a shift. Learning English to living in English.
Wow. Beautifully said, Sophia. Living in English exactly, that's what leads to real, lasting confidence.
And it doesn't happen overnight. But with practice, storytelling becomes your superpower. You can express, connect, inspire all through your words.
And your stories are yours, no one can tell them like you can. That uniqueness adds value to your voice.
Yes. So to everyone listening right now, remember your voice matters. Your story matters. And English is just a bridge to help you share it with the world.
Confidence in English is built step by step through small conversations, shared emotions, and personal stories.
So take your time, trust your journey, and celebrate your growth. Every word you speak brings you closer to fluency, and more importantly to freedom.
Thank you for letting me be part of this conversation today, Sophia. It's been a joy.
The pleasure was all mine, Jacob. Your insights are always powerful and heartfelt.
And to our listeners, just remember you are more confident than you think. Keep going.
Yes. Keep speaking, keep feeling, and keep telling your story in English. Until next time, stay brave and keep learning.
Take care, everyone.
Bye for now.